Hello, how's it going? I'm Andy. Welcome back to my living room. And for this video I said I was going to do a full build. So I've got myself some PVC pipe. And I got a wire coat hanger. I made myself a prototype. That's just out of a piece of kitchen tubing and some electrical wire off an old hoover and some hot glue. Put it together in about 5 minutes. So that's what I'm aiming for. Let's go.
Alrighty, so I've got my pieces of pipe here. I'm going to take a couple of pieces and cut them into 3cm lengths, and then cut those up into sections, just divide them up. I'll use my mat just to divide this into even sections. I'll use my Dremel here, cut it up. I'll cut these up and then cut these pieces into half again, and that should do for pieces of my arms. I'm hoping that's going to work. I don't know, never done this before. So there's all my cut sections, and then I'm going to take my Stanley knife and just clean up the edges. Take off all the fuzzy bits, clean them up. Okay, now they're all cleaned up, I'm going to take my Stanley knife again here and just chamfer the edges on these pieces. Just taking the inside edge and knocking it down a wee bit so it's nice and sloped, so they'll make a nice join. Just get a nice close up here of what I'm up to. That's that nice chamfered edge. That should hopefully make it easier to stick together, like I said. But I'm still going to give it a good sand, just to make sure. I really want to make sure they're going to stick. So, already know at this stage that trying to glue 4 of these pieces together is going to be a bit fiddly. But my plan is to glue them together 2 at a time, and with a tiny dab of glue, and then join these 2 pieces together to get the shape that I want. I'm only using a tiny amount of glue at this point because I'm hoping that the less glue I use, it's going to make it easier to maneuver later on when I put these 2 halves together. This is the fiddly part I was worried about, and I think I rushed it a bit. I should have waited a bit longer for the glue to set, but I stuck with it and eventually it all took hold. And at this point I'm thinking maybe just go for 3, make a triangle, that would do. Just dipping my fingers in the baking powder there, try to dry up some of that glue. So that's one side glued, and it's still all pretty wet, so I'm going to turn it over here and I can still maneuver the other side because there's no glue at all on this side, and that means I can get those into place kind of thing, squeeze it all together and get some more glue in there and plenty of baking powder. I'm pretty much using the glue and baking powder like filler. I'm pushing it into all the gaps, making sure all the gaps are filled, and on the inside I'm getting plenty of glue into the join and filling it up with baking powder. And that's one done. At this point I'm happy with it. I know it looks a bit rough, but it's nothing I can't sort out. So I'll set that to one side, let it dry, and build another one. There we go. That's both the arms done. Move on to the feet now, which again is just 2 pieces cut from a PVC pipe. I just use my Stanley knife, clean them up a wee bit and give them a wee sand. So I got my hands on some plastic card, some styrene, I don't know, whatever you want to call it, plastic. I got my hands on some of it anyway, plastic sheet, and so I'm going to cut it and use it to bulk out some of my shapes, just on the bottom of the feet here and the front and back of the feet, and to cap off the arms and the body. And yeah, it's good stuff. Literally score it, snap it, brilliant. As always here, plenty of glue, plenty of baking powder. And my idea behind using all the glue and baking powder is that it's going to squish out at all the joins and kind of form like a weld. And it means when I'm painting, I can detail that line, you know. And for the arms, they look, like I said, they look a bit rough at the minute. But I'm going to use my Stanley knife later on and carve all that down and sort of cut into it and make it look like worn metal. Just trimming down the feet here. Again, the styrene, just score it and snap it. Great stuff. Just using my Stanley knife here to knock back those harsh edges. Just help it look a wee bit more like metal. And I'm just going to take some more styrene and cap off the top and bottom. Just to bulk out that shape. Here's one I made earlier. Giving it a wee sand there first, just to make sure it's all nice and flush. Now that I have that all capped off, I'm going to take my Stanley knife and trim it all back and round the edges again. I don't want any sharp edges, I want it all to be nice and rounded and beaten. And that's the feet, pretty much done. I'll set those to one side now. I'm sure these other arm sections are dry. I can take my Stanley knife and start cutting it all back. And you'll see what I mean now, that it didn't really matter about all this glue and baking powder that I added earlier. I'm going to cut it all back and smooth it all out. And like I said, round the edges. As I'm doing it, you can see, notice a bit of a hole here. But that's okay, I can just put some more glue in it and some more baking powder and that'll fill in, no problem. And that's more like it now. Nice clean shape, rounded edges, but I can still see those weld lines, and you can see the difference there. Yeah, I know. So that's why I'm not afraid to be messy with the glue and the baking powder. You can always clean it up. And then here's one finished. Just capped it off with more styrene, plastic card, whatever you want to call it. Just the same way as I did the feet. Cut a small piece, capped it top and bottom. Give it a good sand first. Make sure it's nice and flush. I'll get this glued, get plenty of baking powder on it, and set it to one side just to dry. And in the meantime, I can work on the body, which is pretty much the same. Cut myself a couple of big bits of plastic card, cap them off top and bottom, and give it a sand here first, make sure it's nice and flush. Used plenty of glue and baking powder on this one. Want to make really nice big weld lines around the top and bottom edge of the body there. Just use the scissors here first, trim the arms, and then I'll take my Stanley knife and whittle around those edges, get it all nice and rounded and like beaten and worn looking. And that's 2 arms done. Just need to drill the holes. I'll be good to go. For the body here, I'm not going to trim this right back. I'm going to leave a rim around the edge just. And don't forget to keep your offcuts plastic card. You can see that rim I left around the top there. I was kind of going for like a steel drum sort of look. There we go, that's all the main parts done. Just marking the holes here for the fingers. I'm basically just going to go around and mark all my drill holes. Fingers on one side, and for the feet here, mark some holes for the legs to go into. and for the arms to go into here. And then for this arm I want to put a gun on it. I've got this felt tip. I'm going to cut the end off it and stick it on the end of this like a gun or a cannon. Just going to use my mat here to help me mark out the center line. Get all these holes drilled here and clean them up with my Stanley knife, and then I'm ready to start cutting up my wire coat hanger, and that's going to connect my arms to my body and my legs to my body. Just get my holes drilled here for my fingers, and then I've got some aluminium armature wire. I'll cut it up into wee pieces for fingers and just put a wee bend on them here with the pliers before I put them in. And I wasn't really sure how this was going to look, you know, having these fingers just sticking out of a flat surface like this, but I think it looks really good. Yeah, I know, just position them here with the pliers, just getting the curve on them. Oh, this is my felt tip. Cut the end off it. I'm just going to stick it, usual, give it a quick sand. So make sure it sticks. Stick it on the end here, makes pretty good cannon. Getting the holes drilled here for the arms. Again, the holes here, they're about a third of the way down the body. Yeah, I know. And just checking the length here of the arms. Cut the piece of wire length. And trying to bend it with. I was using a wee bit of cardboard here to try and not mark the wire, but the pliers still chewed up the wire. Ended up ditching the bit of cardboard. But yeah, a wee bit of fiddling about, just with posing and bending the arms a wee bit just to see what way I want them to pose. And then just getting the legs cut to size. I knew they were a bit long, but I wanted at least one of them to be going right up through and touching the top of the body kind of thing, just for support. So I've cut the first one and was happy enough with that, and then just cut the second one a wee bit smaller and it was good to go. Then a wee bit more messing about with posing, just seeing what way I want them to stand, and then glued them up. Had a wee bit more bending to do, but nothing too serious. And then I'm going to take this other wee offcut here and make like a faceplate and stick a couple of these wee bits on. This, I think one's from a spray bottle, another one's from like a cream bottle or something. And wee trick here got from Dr. Toys. Just get something of a similar diameter to what you're using and put your sandpaper on it, and it makes great perfect fit there. So yep, definitely using that again. And then again whittling down my edges. I don't like hard edges on these, and it really does, to me it does look like beaten metal when you take the edges down like that and don't sand it. And yeah, just stick that on and get his eyes on. If you're still watching at this point, thank you and well done. And this is usually the part where most YouTubers would say, don't forget to like and subscribe and all that, but I'm not going to say that. Just a plastic drinking straw here. I'm going to cut it up into wee beads and stick them on his fingers just to bulk his fingers out a wee bit. Dab a wee bit of glue on first and then just slide them on over the glue just to make sure it gets up and under there. This is a wheel off a toy car. I'm just going to cut it down and it makes a really good handle for a hatch. Alrighty, I've got the hatch on. Somebody can get in and out. Now it's time for rivets. It's time for rivets. Just using another piece here to mark out a nice circle, just to follow. It's always good to have a line to follow. This is 151 glue that I got from the pound shop, and it's very thin, and at the time I didn't realise it was so thin that it wasn't going to work, so I ended up having to mix in some of my miter bond, which is more like a gel, so I mixed them together and that just made the perfect consistency for applying rivets. So when I'm putting these on, I'm just trying to keep in mind where two pieces of metal would be joined together, and just trying to keep the spacing nice and even all over the whole figure, whether it be on the top or on the arms or wherever, that the spacing's always fairly even. Yeah, I know. That's him. Rivets done. On the back there I just put a couple of rivets on the side of the hatch that the hinges would have been on, and that's him ready for primer. So that's him primed, ready for paint. If you ever want to see my painting process, you can let me know. But for now, back to me in the living room.
So that's him done. I think he turned out great. You can see we prototype here. Like I said, that's just cardboard tube. Cut the arms into sections there, stuck it on hot glue. You could paint that up if you wanted to. That would take paint really well. But I'm really happy with how he turned out. So yeah, next video I'm gonna do arms and legs, and then after that I'll probably do another build. So yeah, if you watched this far, thanks for watching, well done, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.